We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
You are listening to The Underground Marketing Conspiracy, a secret ritual where entrepreneurs acquire highly classified and confidential business knowledge that the top 1% of income earners don't want you to know. And now, your host, Maddie Milligan.
What is up, my fellow conspirator and conspirators? Welcome to The Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo! I talked yesterday about how I'm in the process of building out an e-commerce brand as one of my little side projects with a friend, and we're in the process of, we already have the niche selected, and there's certain criteria that I use when I want to get into a market, and I'm going to discuss that today. But before I go forward, the other day I talked about, I think I made an analogy to forest fires, and there's all sorts of stuff happening in Australia right now, and I felt it was kind of insensitive of me, so I just wanted to touch on that really quickly because I've just seen the devastation that's happened there. I heard there's 500 million animals that have been killed due to all these forest fires, and the temperatures are just absolutely out of control there. So please donate to Australia. I have lots of friends that live over there. I've been there a couple of times, and Australia is absolutely gorgeous, and I would like my grandkids one day to visit there and see how beautiful it is. So please go and donate to the firefighters. Just donate to any kind of cause right now. So I just wanted to touch on that really quickly before I get started. So let's talk about niches though. All right. So there's three main criteria that I use when I'm choosing a niche. Okay. So number one is really important. It needs to be something that you're passionate about. And the main reason is I've had other people and coaches tell me don't go into things that you're passionate about. You only need to go into the second thing, which is there just needs to be a huge market for it, and it needs to be a profitable niche where there's already hungry buyers and people are irrationally passionate about it already. But if you yourself are not passionate about a niche, it is going to be hard for you to stay in that for a very, very, very long time, right? It's going to be hard for you to get up in the morning and get excited about it if it's something that you're like, I got up and I have to talk about this thing that I don't like, and oh man, and just deal with all these people and this topic that I'm not interested in. I wish I had chosen this other niche. So I would really think about things that you are passionate about, something that you could talk about for hours and hours and hours about every single day, right? That's really one of the first steps to building that long-term brand. Because I've started this before with e-commerce businesses. Like I tried to sell like women's products like makeup and stupid stuff that I have no business getting into whatsoever. And that was a big mistake. So I want you to save yourself time, save yourself frustration, and go into something that you're passionate about. Now, what I'm talking about right now is e-com. There's all sorts of other things. Like maybe if you want to become a service provider, maybe you're passionate about that. Like maybe you're passionate about, like I am, about copywriting and funnel building and IT, and you're passionate about this technical stuff. Heck, that's a passionable niche. That's a passionate niche, or that's a niche you could feel passionate about. So you have to choose something though that like excites you, right? That's going to help you keep you motivated, and again, it's going to force you to put in those long hours to succeed. So it needs to be something where like you have a visceral reaction to it, where look at the things you're already doing and things you're already buying, and decide for yourself, like, whoa, like what am I already buying right now? Like, okay, like what am I already consuming that I'm already excited about, right? Like I know for me, for example, I love ice hockey. I'm sure I could get into ice hockey. Like if that was a niche that I will eventually get into it. Heck, as one of my other projects, I'll write that down right now, in fact. But for me, getting excited about the Toronto Maple Leafs, like they're crushing it recently too, by the way. And for me, it's not that hard to get excited about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like if I just see their logo, if I see a player's name, if I see someone else wearing a jersey or some sort of Leafs paraphernalia, I'm going to get super excited about it right then and there. And I'm probably going to check how they're doing in the standings and see which players are doing the best and really just look at stats and nerd out on all that stuff. So find one of those things where you have that reaction to it. Okay, so passion, number one. Number two, I briefly touched on before. It needs to be a niche where people are already buying things. It needs to be profitable. It needs to be something where people are hungry, right? Like, you need to find topics where people are already buying things. One of the things that I like to do to find these out, to find these markets, is I'll go to Indigo chapters, which is similar to, I think, Barnes and Noble in the United States. It's like a bookstore where there's magazines, and I'll go to the bookshelf and I'll look for those topics to see what magazines are actually selling. And I'll even ask the people there, like, heck, do you have any old versions of these magazines? Like, which ones do you know that sells the most? And they'll be like, oh, it's this one. And I'll be like, sweet. And I'll open it up and I'll look at the products that are already selling in there. And I'll look at there, and then I'll go to their websites, because I'll write down the domain names. I'll visit those websites and look at it. And then from there, I can look at all their social profiles. I can see the engagement. I can see what people are talking about in that niche, because every niche, people communicate in a different way. They have certain colloquialisms they use. You'll figure a lot about the avatar by doing this as well, but you really need to look at stuff that people are already buying, right? Look at those brands where they've been running ads for a while, and that is really what's going to help you see if they're succeeding. And then, heck, maybe again, you look at their page, you look at their Facebook profile, you see if they're running ads. If they've been running ads for a while, then chances are they're probably making money running those ads in those magazines. So that's one thing that I do. And then maybe I'll go and look if there's like calendars that people are buying. That's another indicator. Again, if in Indigo, same thing, right? Maple Leafs example, there's an NHL magazine. They have these playbooks they bring out every year. It's like which just shows you all the players, shows you all their stats, and then there's calendars that they sell, and there's all the other merchandise that they sell from that, right? So though that's one thing. There needs to be people already in those markets buying things, right? Hungry buyers who are just waiting for you as the marketer and as the company to just make them an offer for something, right? And if you make them an offer for something that they want, it just makes it so much easier, all right? So again, number one, something you're passionate about. Number two, needs to be a niche where people are already buying things, right? Something where it's already profitable, where there's already people actively finding things. Don't go out and just choose and create something random. Don't be a pioneer and go into something where people aren't buying things. Go into a niche where people are already buying things and they're super passionate about it themselves. All right. So those are number two. So that's number two. Number three is something where you already possess a certain amount of knowledge and skills. So I was talking about hockey. I grew up playing hockey my entire life. My brother was one of the best goaltenders I've ever seen. Watched lots of hockey growing up, played all the video games, would always research all the stats in my spare time. I knew every single player. I often go to games, very passionate about hockey. So again, I already have that knowledge on this specific topic. So for me to talk about it, for me to communicate with the avatar that I'm selling to, is going to be so much easier. And this is just going to save you so much time. It's hard for you to go into these niches. Like I said before, for me as a dude, right, like a straight white guy, going and talking about makeup, like I don't know anything about makeup. Like I see videos and I like women and I like the way, like when they wear makeup, sure, but for me to talk about that stuff, like it's very difficult. I would need to do a lot of research and find out more about the specific niche. So this is going to save you so much time. Just think of the things you already know about and things you're already buying and the things that give you that reaction and get you excited. Like once you have that, like that's your niche for ecom. Like that's exactly how you need to choose a niche, right? So maybe, for example, you're passionate about dogs, maybe a specific breed of dog or a specific breed of cat. That would be a niche you're getting into. Maybe you're passionate about cooking. That could be a niche you get into. Maybe you're into mechanics or quilting or sewing or fitness or drinking beer or nursing or cycling, or you're a triathlete, or you're a dad, or you're a mom, or you drink tea or coffee. Even any of those. Take the three things I just talked about and choose a niche based on those three things. So quickly reiterate, right? Passionate You need to be passionate about it. It needs to be a profitable niche. It needs to be a niche where you already have certain skills, qualifications, and domain knowledge. Once you really hone in and have these 3 things locked in, like, you're all set. You're so ready to rock and roll, and I can virtually guarantee that you will absolutely crush it. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Underground Marketing Conspiracy. If you did, consider subscribing and even listening to some additional episodes, maybe even leaving a quick review if you get a chance on Spotify or iTunes, or on my Facebook page if you are listening there. My name is Matty Milligan. You can find out more about me by visiting mattymilligan.com, and I will see you next time on another episode of The Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo!